How did Mary deliver Jesus? Was it the way we all know, or a painless and miraculous way? This is a big question, okay? This all gets back to what we would call the perpetual virginity of Mary. Number one, we know that she conceived Jesus by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit overshadowed her. Joseph didn't have anything to do with it. And God overshadowed her, and she conceived Jesus in her womb. Now, earlier in her conception, we have the immaculate conception of Mary, meaning that when she was conceived, God spared her of original sin by the work of Christ outside of time, obviously, but he protected her from sin. So she doesn't have the sin, which we oftentimes will relate back to Eve, who had children. And when she had children, Cain and Abel, she had pain in childbirth. And so that pain in childbirth is related to original sin. Now, again, Mary was conceived without sin. And then later on, when the Holy Spirit overshadowed her and she suddenly had Jesus, inside of her, she conceived and she had the Son of God inside of her. We know that she was a virgin prior to this. We know that she was a virgin during the 9 months, but the church also teaches us that after she gave birth to Jesus, she still remained a virgin. In other words, she didn't have relations with Joseph. And there's a lot of good reasons for this in theology. So now we look at the birth of Jesus. And the question is, did she have pain like everybody else, or was it a miraculous sort of birth? Well, in the early church fathers, there was teaching that when Jesus was born, it was like a miracle. It wasn't a vaginal birth, but it was suddenly like he's there. Now, others teach that, yes, she did have a vaginal delivery of Jesus, but because the pains were associated with original sin, she didn't experience that pain. So this can be debated back and forth about this miraculous birth, a painless birth of Jesus, but we know that even in the process of giving birth, she remains a virgin, and then she was a virgin all the way to the end. There was a time in the early church where some people taught, and we know today that this is not true, but taught that sex was the original sin, and anything to do with sexuality was, and I think that John Paul II has really done an amazing work in the theology of the body and talking about the beauty of the body and the language of the body. But I can just say this, laying it to rest, we know that she was perpetually a virgin. If you enjoyed this video and you still have more questions about the Bible, remember to subscribe to this channel and download the free Ascension app for more Bible answers.